You know what I can't stand about this, and it's said all the time, right? Especially from Sufis and what that claim this tasawwuf. Like tasawwuf's a science, and Sufis are the experts on tasawwuf, right? Whatever you okay, so if you want to, they come up with these terms and they do this like chain reaction, like this means this means this means this, right? And they'll use the hadith of when Angel Jibrail came to Umar radiallahu anh, and taught him, and they talked about what's ikhlas, and it's like to worship Allah as if you see him, if you know that you can't see him, but that hadith, right?
Mm.
And they basically claim this thing that one, yes, Islam, period, is about purification, purifying yourself and all that, right? There's no like separate science as in like, okay, there's fiqh, there's tafsir, and like where are these scholars that are like, okay, let's study the things that were done for specifically for purification. Okay. And maybe there was at some point. But then they say like, okay, Sufis are the experts at that. Okay, let's look at this. Sufis. One, what if we say let's just go to let's make it binary. Sufis, Salafis. Okay. As far as comparing the average Sufi to the average Salafi, who actually knows more Quran and Hadith?
Salafi.
It's going to be the Salafi all the time. They're going to know more Hadith, especially Hadith. They're going to know more standard Quran. They're like the regular talking points. They're going to know these things, right? They're going to know something, and they're going to make sure that whatever they're doing comes from the Quran and Sunnah. So, who actually has more knowledge of the ways to purify yourself that are actually from the Quran and Sunnah? It's going to be the Salafis. Who actually needs someone avoiding shirk? The only way you can avoid shirk is to be a Sufi. Out of all the groups that are out there, which group are always getting accused of, hey, that's shirk, and the debates are actually about like, whether what they're doing is shirk or haram. Like that's the debate. It's not shirk, it's just haram. No, it's not. It's not. It is shirk. It is. When you have to have a debate with your practices of whether it's shirk or it's haram, and we have to get into nuances of your intentions and this and that, you're not in a good place. So you're actually more likely to commit shirk if you're a Sufi than you are anything else.
Yeah. It's actually this whole thing is inverted. Actually, you should replace it with the Sufis. There's no other field of knowledge except for following Quran and Sunnah and the methodology and the example of the Sahaba. It can cleanse the heart of shirk 100%.
Yep. Exactly.
Erase Sufi out of there. Now the second paragraph: anyone with no knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah, how could they possibly reach 100% sincerity in performing their mandatory obligations if you don't have any knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah?
Mm-hmm.
Know that you probably could throw Sufi into this last joint.
Yeah.
Know that if you do practice tasawwuf, just like these people do, in performing your mandatory obligations, most likely your deeds won't be accepted because you'll be associating. I remember different things for when some of this stupid stuff they would tell you to. And I remember one time I was like, this don't make sense. I'm not doing it. They would say, whenever you make dua, they said, make dua to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he asks Allah to accept your dua that you're going to make to Allah. I remember being like a teenager and thinking that don't make no sense whatsoever. I mean, how is it makes? But this is the type of things that you might be told in these high level tasawwuf, knowledge of tasawwuf. They tell you to do stuff like that. Yeah, most likely you go ahead and make a dua to Rasulullah instead of Allah, and see what happens. Most likely, not even most likely, it won't be accepted. You go ahead and offer a sacrifice to Rasulullah instead of Allah. It ain't going to be accepted. So he flipped it on his head. Really, it should be, if you practice the tasawwuf, most likely your deeds ain't going to be accepted.
And just
the route that this guy's taking, this goofy Sufi stuff.